Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is The Other History of the DC Universe #2, series that I've been looking forward to since it was announced. How long ago? I mean, the first issue blew me away, and the second issue, I think, right up there and just doesn't disappoint at all. So for those who don't know, The Other History of the DC Universe is kind of spearheaded by John Ridley, an amazing creator. If you've never seen his films or his television series or read his comics, you're missing out. Just a talented creator. And what the series is an exploration of the DC universe from the perspective of minority characters, people of color, and kind of just a honest, brutal look at the DC universe. And what's interesting is how much DC is willing for Ridley to get away with. I mean, the first two issues have been a hell of a condemnation of DC Comics and its history and the perspective of some of its heroes. It's been really interesting to read, to experience and kind of see what is very honest and very truthful take on various characters and events. I mean, it's a very, very interesting series. So, as I said, this is by John Ridley. The layouts are by Giuseppe Camuncoli. Finishes by Andrea, Cucchi. Colors by José Villarrubia. Lettered by Steve Wands. So this one is about Karen Beecher Duncan and Mal Duncan. Karen Beecher Duncan, you'll know, is Bumblebee. And Mal, he kind of had code names, but not really. And their relationship and their history with the Teen Titans and then the Titans. I forgot what years this takes place. I don't think I necessarily say 1970 to 1989. Kieran and Mal, I was going to say Hal, Mal, they live in one of the poorer areas of Metropolis. I forgot, it's not Hell's Kitchen, but it's Hell's something. It's kind of a riff on Hell's Kitchen. And, the whole thing is this is one of the ghettos of Metropolis. Where heroes don't go, and they come across the then Teen Titans who were hiding there because why would you look for a bunch of white heroes in this sort of neighborhood? That unto itself kind of smells a little racist. But what's interesting is that, at first it's Mal's history with the group, and then eventually Karen's history when she becomes Bumblebee, and we see how Mal is this secondary character to the group, that they really use him a lot, and in many ways he's their mascot. Instead of joining the group, they ask him to be their maintenance man. Mal wasn't even their Alfred. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's really interesting. It's one thing to be Lucius or Alfred and have pretty key roles, but it wasn't even that. It was the hey, we're breaking up. Can you watch the building for us? Hey, we need a headquarters and we're going to have a club as the cover. Can you manage the club for us? It's even when he shows his competence, they don't seem to appreciate it. And generally, it really depicts the Teen Titans' his abusive freaking group. Beyond the high school drama and all that with the group, it reflects on stuff that they did to Garth, to Aqualad, and just how much of assholes they were towards him, and that how he had to quit to get his mental state together, and they still were giving him crap for doing to trying to take care of himself. It's really interesting because of that, and a pretty negative take on the group. When they eventually become the Titans and characters like Cyborg join, Mal and Karen are overlooked, and Mal points out is I guess they only have room for one black person on the team. It's a pretty honest and truthful thing to say. It's pretty clear that there was quotas, I guess would be the right word. You had to have the token person on the team after a while, but no more than that. Don't go more than that. And it's interesting that really is just pointing out these troublesome times and eras for DC. And doesn't seem to be getting any pushback for it. And I think through the format of the comic is what makes it even more fascinating. Is I use the word comic loosely. Is there's pictures and there's text to it, but it's not the normal narrative comic that we could think of. These aren't scenes that are telling a story, it's kind of taking us through eras and commenting on it, more like a graphic, a journal with graphics to it. I actually think the best way of describing this is a graphic essay. This really feels like John Ridley is putting us through a college course thesis, hell, a graduate thesis, and the graduate thesis is being told with imagery, not just his words. Backing up his words through imagery, and it's amazing. It's really, really amazing stuff. And it's willing to call out the real jacked up stuff when you think about it. Part of the discussion here is what Superman does to Supergirl. That instead of having her come out into the open and allowing her to flourish in her own way, he hides her from the public, and puts her in an orphanage to protect her. It's really this kind of jacked up, somewhat, I mean, it's not somewhat, it's a pretty sketchy thing. How just talking about the team and the relationships, it's just all of it it's impressive. It's really, really well done. The art is amazing. It picks up the era so well, and there's just some amazing imagery. Like, you can't see that and not just be impressed by it. This series is fantastic. Like, it weaves in real history. We've got the Jimmy Carner's Arthur Ashe, and kind of puts things into perspective as to what this time period was, not just in comics, but America and the world as a whole. And it really kind of helps bring it all together. This is a truly amazing release. Graphic essay, I think, is the best way of really looking at it. And thinking about it, and I can't wait to see what's next. Like, I would love for really just to go on and on and on, and it'd be amazing to see what his commentary about the '90s were. But so far so good. This has just been an amazing series, and I want more of this. I feel more educated and looking at stuff in a different way after reading this. And I don't know DC history super well. So I kind of know general stuff about what's being talked about, but to kind of go through this perspective, I feel smarter is what it comes down to it. So, absolutely amazing stuff. The first issue blew me away. The second, I think, is just as good. This isn't the normal comic books. This is really more like a educational journey. Absolutely amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Out now in comic shops. You can go get it. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. Tell if a shop's near you. No shop, no problem. We do have affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we get a small percentage of that. By doing that, you help support our site, though, so thank you as well. And speaking of support, I want to thank you for watching. Just watching these videos help us, and thank you so much for that. Now, if you're into comics, if you're into DC Comics, John Ridley's doing tons of stuff now in comics. Check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.